Hi there, this is Nick Payne. Today what I'm going to talk about is how I got involved in lean thinking. Mainly because I had a bit of a cheeky little drive yesterday. Sorry, something's flashed up on my screen. I had a bit of a cheeky drive yesterday, about 8 hours to get here because I'm doing some consulting work for the next couple of weeks. And I thought today I should share it. And that's come from some of the places I've been working when I've been there as a trainer. If I'm going to be trying to get people to change, I need them to trust me. So part of needing them to trust me is, I would say, why should you believe anything I say? So if I'm trying to share some stuff with you, it's good as far as I'm concerned, but again, is why should you trust me? And part of that is, I think, well, okay, if I let you know where I've come from, you've got a bit more history about me, and that might help you make a more informed decision about things. So I had mentioned before I was in the Royal Air Force, and I was 16 when I joined. I joined as in a technical role, and they spent 3 years training me how to maintain, repair aircraft electronic systems. So that was my basic job. After that, I went out into Air Force proper, where I worked on a few different aircraft, and each aircraft I worked with, I got loads more training, again, telling me all about their systems. So that's a critical part of everything. So from the age of 16 onwards, I've been trained in looking at maintaining and repairing systems, tends to be electronic ones. I then undertook some scientific training and some scientific education through the 90s. And a lot of that was talking about systems as well. So there's some biological, like biochemical systems in the body, there's physical systems, there's solar systems, there's astronomy, all that sort of stuff. There are lots of systems out there. So all of that again was reinforcing my knowledge of systems and expanding my knowledge of systems as well, which is really good. And then in 2004, I've been promoted a couple of times. Again, I got another promotion in 2004 and got put into more of a management role. And what tended to happen when you do get promoted, or at least then in the Royal Air Force, I got shifted. Shifted to another base, went into work, and basically within the first couple of days, the boss said, what we'd like you to do is set up and run a new improvement team. But because you're new here, you've got no predisposed ideas, you're an ideal person for the role. I thought, yeah, okay, that sounds like nobody else wants to do it. I've been dealt a turkey, and okay, so I'm new here, I'm the least valuable person in the place, thank you very much. So anyway, I've got to give them the contact details of these people who I contacted, went across to see them. They gave me a 45-minute PowerPoint presentation, at the end of which they said, have you any questions? What do you think? I said, I have just one question. Why haven't we always been doing that? Because for me, it made perfect sense. It involved systematically looking at processes, taking away waste, and improving them. And in doing so, you're likely to reduce the time it takes to do work, you're likely to make things safer, you're likely to increase quality. Now for me, that made perfect sense to do, and no one's working any harder to do so. So hence me saying, why haven't we always been doing all that? It actually threw them a little bit. They said, oh, we don't usually hear that. You generally get people protecting the way they've been doing work for ages, and don't seem to want to do stuff in a slightly different way. But it seemed logical to me. Again, it's systems. It was all about systems. Anyway, my first task that was given to me was set right the engine bay, aircraft engine. Obviously, they need to produce an engine instead of one every 5 days. It's got to be every 4. So, I want you to go and look at that. There's a team of people to do it. I think I had 1, 2, 6 people. And that's what we did. I also got given a booklet that said, if you follow these instructions, literally it's like a step by step, day by day, here's what you do. That's what we do. And then the first 3 weeks was spent getting data, finding out how the system worked, understanding the now, what is happening now. Not finding out what's supposed to happen, but understand what actually happens now. Now, as we're going through this time, because we're trying to talk to people, there was because it's the first time I'd done it, there was lots of persuading people, which put me into something of a sales role, and sales is not something I do naturally. So I was trying to persuade people who didn't want to do something different, which meant by about 3:30, about 3 o'clock every day, I had a monstrous headache. I also didn't know what the answer was to this thing. I've been looking at it for 3 weeks. I didn't know what the answer was. So again, I was getting kind of stressed on this. I thought, it's my first task in this role. I might fail. I, I might get it wrong. I don't know what to do, what the answer is. So we got a consultant support. They would come to see us in the week 4, but we also had the other guys I'd gone to see. They sort of came across and helped mentor a bit. Then we got to the point of saying, right, what is the problem? I said, well, when we actually looked at it, what was supposed to be a tech of 5 days was actually somewhere between 7 and 12. So the improvement to load up the pressure on me meant I didn't have to go from 5 to 4 days. I had to go from 7 to 12 days to 4 days. So again, it's like, oh my God. So anyway, what we did is we said, right, here's how the system is working. And we drew it out, we visualised how the system was working. Literally, no computers at that point. It was drawn, pencil and paper. Here's how the system's working. So right, that's how that's working. How can we do it better? So I come out with a proposal. It said that's not likely to work. Someone else come out with something which is not really tenable. And then one of the other guys, actually one of the lowest ranked guys we had there, he says, why don't we do this? We went, everyone's like a light bulb went ping, I can't see a downside to it, it's got to work. Everyone in agreement at that point went, that's it, that's got to be the one. Then all we had to do was figure out how to get to that point from where we are now and plan out the steps in it, which we did. Obviously, before we put anything in place, all the people that worked, all the stakeholders involved, we communicated with them before, during, told them what the solution was going to be and what they've got to do and how they're going to have to work different in the future to make it work. Obviously, there was some pushback and a headache. But we did it because we had the support of management, like higher management, literally all the way up to the minister. That enabled us to put all these steps in place that were identified. So we did. And the first time we'd run it, met to get in 4 days. On the 4th day, bang, done. Everything moved forward. An engine was ready on the 4th day. And then onwards. And I don't think it failed at any point after that. So the takeaway I got from that was I didn't have to know the solution. I just have to be able to ask the right question of people. So from then onwards, it really became a thing of looking at the system, understanding it, and just directing people to see if they can identify those problems and then come up with solutions. And even getting people to come up with whacking out their solutions, because they can lead to real things. And I did that a lot as well. So in my time in the Air Force, I worked across technical streams, technical maintenance streams, logistics, painters and finishers, so parachute packing, ejection seats, lots of things in that time. Then after I left the Air Force, just my contract being finished, it was all quite amicable. I then got a job in a place that made wiring looms and harnesses that ostensibly went into military helicopters, but there were civilians obviously doing that. Able to put lean thinking into that. Productivity went up there 30% fairly quickly. I then got a job working in a place that did fiberglass truck cabs. I didn't know there were fiberglass till I worked in this place, but again I was able to have an effect there. That was a fancy title of maintenance manager and continuous improvement engineer, which was couldn't find a plaque big enough to stick it on, but it didn't matter. Then I got a job consulting training, worked across a wide range of people, so we're looking at multinational rolled metal, rolled aluminium I was working with. I worked at a place that made window blinds, charcoal briquettes, joiners, I've made furniture, kitchens, bathrooms, that sort of thing. That's always good. Almost did some work with concrete, but that didn't work out. Somebody else got given that one. Worked in a place that designed, manufactured and installed building management systems and energy management systems for big buildings like hospitals and shopping centres, that sort of thing. Worked with confectioners. I've worked in recycling, which is interesting. Confectioners was good because they insisted I taste chocolate products. Absolute nightmare. And then obviously been working in rail as well, rail maintenance assistant them. So there's not much difference between maintenance activity, whether you got airplanes or trains, to be fair. But it's what is good is assisting people to manage those systems correctly. And again, it all comes down to system. So it's what is really good is systemize the way you look at systems, and that's what I help people do. So you're focusing on the management and get them to help those guys do the work and make improvements. So I hope you got something from that. That's me. And anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.